Hello, my friends. Amy with Campbell Creations, and today we are using Bargain Bead Box November 2025, and this is the Winterberry Wishes, and we're also pulling in that companion bundle. So I'm going to have a mix today. Okay, we are going to do two separate sets. Okay, the first set, that's everything that I have out here, is going to be a 2-strand necklace. It's actually going to be 2 necklaces that can be stacked, as well as a pair of earrings and a double strand bracelet. And then on the second set that we'll be doing after this, it is going to be a single strand necklace with a multi-strand bracelet and a pair of earrings. But you know, they're both kind of similar in the way that I wanted to do these. And so I just figured, you know what, I'll just put them all together, and I'm excited about it. These are gorgeous pieces. I know they're going to be gorgeous, and I am super excited to get them done with you. We're going to be mixing some metals today. We're going to be using antique copper, and we're going to be using like a KC gold, as well as a little bit of the light rose gold. So a lot of times that KC gold and that light rose gold, they just meld into each other and it all looks like one color when they're put together. And that's what you'll see whenever we're doing this today. So what I'm pulling in, a whole lot, right? A whole lot. So I'm pulling in these beautiful lampwork beads. I absolutely love these. We are using all of them in the combination of our pieces today. We're going to be pulling in the lapidolite coins and the lapidolite little hishi beads. Okay, that's a mix from the bundle as well as the box. We're pulling in the phosphiterite little beads, and these are the ones that came in the box. Okay, so there's a difference between the ones that came in the box and the ones that came in the companion bundle. So the ones that came in the box are these little rondelles. Okay, and then the ones that came in the companion bundle, actually we are going to be pulling some of those in. So the ones that came in the companion bundle are little faceted rounds, and so we'll be pulling those in when we're working on that bracelet. So yeah, we'll be pulling those in as well. I'm going to be using essentially all that's left of that little Winterberry mix that came in the box. Okay, we're going to be pulling in some of those beautiful glass pearls, the bead caps. Oh, I think it's in the other piece we're using the bead caps. I'm getting myself confused. But what I'm pulling in from my stash is I have some of these little rose beads, and I thought the colorway was perfect for the combination that we're using today. This is all I have of these, and I'm super excited to use them. I've had them for a little while, so I'm really happy to use those up. I have some discs here, some 8mm discs that's in the antique copper. I have bead caps. So these bead caps here, I love these bead caps. These came from Bead Box Bargains, and they had them for quite some time. They were on a big closeout, and essentially every time I put in an order, I got a couple bags of these, and I love them. They are that KC gold color, that rich, almost like 18 karat gold plated gold. Love them so much. For these antique bronze bead caps, these I get from Amazon, and I'll have those linked below. These here I get from Amazon as well. They're 4mm. It is listed as rose gold, but I'm telling you, these are not rose gold. These are KC gold. Totally. Okay. The spacer beads that I'm pulling in a lot of them actually today. So these spacer beads, these 3mm, these are the ones I just recently got at Hobby Lobby, and these are also that KC gold color. Just beautiful little spacer beads. I love them. And then I'm going to be pulling in some 4mm here, and these are rose gold. They're the light rose gold that are on beadboxbargains.com site. And then also I have some crimp tubes that are that light rose gold, and I get those from Bead Box Bargains site. I'm sure I'm forgetting several things here. We're pulling in the pendant, we're pulling in the toggle clasps. We've just got a lot going on, and we're going to have fun with it. Okay, so let's get going here. I'm using 2 different kinds of beading wire today. Okay, so the first one that I'm using here is going to be for the focal necklace, and it is Soft Flex Metallics, and it's medium in that copper color. And then for our supporting actress role strand, here I'm pulling in Soft Flex Fine and Satin Silver, and my little thing broke today, my little holder, and so I'm pretty bummed, but anyways, that's what we're using for that. So I have my fine for that supporting actor strand. I have this cut to 19 inches. And for that medium soft flex for our primary strand, our primary focal necklace, this is cut to 24 inches. Okay. Now, we're also going to do a little bit of wire work. There's some spacers that I created and I just love using them. They're just fun, fun, fun. And it's these little guys. Super simple. So super simple. They are just little coils. So they're like little coils that you would make if you were, making homemade jump rings. And so we're going to pull those in as spacers today. And I'm really excited about how I've planned to do that. So why don't we go ahead and start with that? We'll make a couple together. Okay, and what I'm using for that is, this is bronze 22 gauge wire, and this bright bronze, I've said before, really reminds me of antique copper, and so it really looks like antique copper. Like, look, see that? Yeah. And so that's what I'm going to be using to make these little coil spacer beads. So we're going to start there. I just have a couple scrap pieces here. Okay, and so you want them to be pretty straight. You definitely want them to be flush cut, at least at the one end that you're starting with. And so I'm going to bring in my 6-step bail making pliers, and we're going to be using the smallest one. Okay, and so when I'm doing mine, I have whichever one that I'm going to be using furthest away from me. Okay, so I have that small one that's farthest away from me. I'm putting this wire in there, and I'm wanting to make sure that I'm not feeling it there. Okay, I want it to just be barely poking through there. And then we're just going to make a coil. And when I'm going around, as soon as I get to that meeting point, I'm just staying right there close. I want to be right there close up to it. Okay, and I'm just going around. And I'm being mindful as I'm going around that I want it to be as close as possible. Of course, we can smash it, we can get it even closer, but for ease, I want it to be as close as possible. And what I'm looking for is about five wraps that go around. Okay, so right now we're sitting at 3. Okay, and so then once I get to that opening, I'm gonna push this down a little bit. Now we're starting at 4. See that starting point? So now we're starting at 4. And then when I get to 5, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. Wait a minute. Nope, that's the starting point. So I'm gonna keep going until I'm about to the end of it. There we go. So now we have those 5 strands. I'm just going to pop this off. You see we have that little coil. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and trim that off. And when I trim it off, I definitely want it to be a flush cut. So I'm going to try to go as close as possible when I'm cutting that and just cut that off. So you're going to see that we have, we have those 2 ends that are kind of pokey. There's a few things you can do. Okay, so what I like to do is I bring in my round nose pliers, and with my round nose pliers, I just come in here with it, line it up, and I just give it a little smash. Okay, that way it's softening those edges so they're not, pokey and scratching and snagging and all of that good stuff. You could also bring in your little file. And so if I was to use my file, I would leave this connected, okay? And that's, I guess, another way too. So some, just you see how the beginning and end are right about the same spot? They'll come in here and they'll just kind of smash it from there. Also, if you are seeing spacing in yours and you need it to be closer together, I would say leave it on your bail making pliers. So that's what I do. I would just leave it on there and give it a little smash here. That way I'm not distorting that, and then I just did it. That way I'm not distorting it, right? And so by doing that, I just pop that one edge up. I'm just going to come in here while it's still on here, and I'm just going to smash that edge down a little bit. I popped him up. I was too busy talking and not paying enough attention. Okay, so But also know these don't have to be perfect. These don't have to be identical in size to each other, okay? You want them to be close, but they don't have to be identical. All right, you're gonna see what we're gonna be doing with them, and you know, they're just unique, they're just cute, they're just fun. So let's go ahead and make another one real quick. Okay, so I'm wanting to make sure I have a nice flush cut. This one isn't gonna be too long, isn't long enough. So I'm gonna start with a good flush cut. And for mine, it takes right about 2 inches. That's what I've found. So the one that I'm wanting to use, I have farthest away from me, which is that smallest one. I'm gonna come in here, I just want that barely poking through. I wanna make sure I'm not feeling anything. And then I'm just gonna go around. And then when I get to that point where it's meeting, I wanna make sure that I'm just right there with it. Right, just right there with it. And you see how he wants to pop up a little bit? I'm just gonna fix him, push him down a little bit. Okay. So I just kind of stay in line. And so right now we're starting at the 3. And now we're starting at the 4. And now we're starting at the 5. So I'm just gonna go around until just about where I see it in the same spot here. See, so where I started and where I ended is going to be about the same. Come in here, I'll trim him off. And then I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and I just give him a little squish. Make sure there's no pokey edges. Come to the other side, give him a little squish there. And those are our little spacers. It's cute. They're cute. And I think they're going to be real cute in the design that's going to be happening today. So there's that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on our primary focal strand. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my medium soft flex that's cut to 24 inches. I'm going to set my fine aside. Now I better bring a couple bead bugs in because I'm going to need them. And if you do hear any background noise, the kitty cats have zoomies. I tried to wait before I got started. I was just waiting and waiting to see if they would kind of get some of it out of their system, and they just kept going. And, you know, I have to work. So I want to get this done first. I'm super excited about this. All right, so what we're going to be doing is whenever we start this, the little focal area is going to be pulling in some of our lampwork beads. And we're also going to be pulling in that focal area some of these coin beads. Okay, all but 2 of them will be in the focal, and so I'm going to have these 2 kind of wait. Okay, I'll have them wait. And then we're also going to be pulling in some of these little spacer guys. And then we'll have some of these. We'll have some of these. All in the focal. And then also I did get out some 10-0 seed beads. Just so 11-0 would work too. You can also use little delicas. I have delicas out. I have little bugle beads out. You can use any of those to stuff these, but I like to stuff them just so that they, you know, don't move around really on that wire. So the way I'm going to get started here is with our lampwork bead. Okay, so I'm going to put on that lampwork bead, and I'm wanting to stack those bead caps. Are you shocked? No, I know. And when we stack those bead caps, I want to bring in these Casey Gold bead caps, as well as some of our antique copper bead caps. Okay, so for this, I am putting on antique copper, followed by that Casey Gold color. Let me do the other side and I'll show you. So we're going to be putting on that copper color and then Casey Gold color. And ooh, ooh, ooh. She is pretty. It's just elegant. It's just elegant. It reminds me of, you know, like vintage and elegance, and that's what I'm kind of going for with this set, you know. And so on each side, what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to bring in one of our spacer beads, okay, and some of our little delicas. And these delicas are the copper color. I get these at Hobby Lobby, And so it's just these little delicas here. And they're so nice because they're all identical size. They have really hollow walls and they're good for stuffing things as well. But I'm using them for spacers today. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is, after lampwork bead, I'm doing this little series. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of these 4mm bead caps and I'm going to have it facing the spacer bead, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on one of these guys. And what's going to happen is when I pop on one of these spacers, you see that bead cap is just going to kind of be that stopping point for it. You know, it gives it a little bit of something at the end. It's going to be that stopping point. And then when I give a little stuff in there, and really I'm just using one of these spacer beads, it just kind of makes sure it brings it up off that wire. It stays kind of centered, like so. On the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to have that bead cap going away. That way it's butted right up against that little coil. Isn't that so cute? I think it's just absolutely adorable. I just love it. I just love it. So on this other side, okay, so we have our focal here, this lampwork bead. Okay, to the right of that, we have that little 3mm spacer, Delica 3mm spacer, and then our stuffed coil. Okay. From there, I'm just going to put on one of our little spacer beads. And then we're going to bring in the coins. And with the coins, I just want it to have one little bead cap. Okay, so there's going to be a difference in these series as far as those spacer beads are concerned. So on each side of the lampwork bead, I'm wanting to do that little series for the spacers. And then what is going on each side of the coin bead is just simply bead cap and a spacer. Okay, so on the other side of this coin, I'm going to go ahead and do that same, and then we'll go over to the other side. Once I get this primary focal part done, we'll work up from one side. Okay, so bead cap, and then from there I'm just doing a spacer, and from that spacer I'm going then right into my little coil series. So I'm going to have a bead cap going towards that spacer. Okay, I'm going to pop on a coil. I'm going to put something in there to stuff it, and then a bead cap for the end of that coil. And then on this other side, I'm going to do another lampwork bead. So my series is going to be different, right? So here I'm going to then do a spacer bead, a Delica, a spacer bead, and then we'll double up that bead cap for the lampwork bead. So we'll come in here with one of these Casey Gold bead caps, and on the underneath of it, we will have that copper. Okay, that's where that difference is. And of course the cats came in and decided today, right now is a perfect time to eat. So my apologies for that noise. So I'll put on that lampwork bead, and then on the other side, we'll just get those bead caps going. So the copper, the Casey Gold, and then we're going to do that same little spacer series. So we'll do that spacer bead, Delica, spacer bead, then we'll do that bead cap series for our coil. So we'll have that bead cap going towards our spacer. We'll pop on one of these little coils, put something in there to stuff that coil, just something to set it up off that wire right there in its center. Okay, and then we'll just bring in another one of these, and then just one spacer bead, because next we'll do that bead cap with our coin. Spacer, or I'm sorry, bead cap, coin, 4mm bead cap. So that is going to be our focal series that's going on. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 4 of our coins and 3 of our lampwork beads. So I'm going to go ahead and start back up on the other side. Okay, so here's our center guy. So we'll do that spacer bead, delica, and a spacer bead. We'll do that bead cap going towards the spacer bead. We'll pop on one of our little coil spacers, put something in the center of it. We'll do that other bead cap for the other side of the coil. And then we'll do that spacer. And then we're going to bead cap a coin. Okay, so on the other side of the coin, we'll just do that spacer bead, and then we'll go into that bead cap going towards that spacer bead. We'll pop on that coil. And when I'm using these, I put 2 on there because they're a little bit smaller than the others. And I grabbed just one of my containers that had some in there and just popped a couple out. So it doesn't have to be particular. And if your coils are, close together, no one's going to see what's in there anyhow. Okay. And so now we're going to be doing this last lampwork bead. So we're going to be doing a spacer bead, a delica, and a spacer bead. And then one of our KC Gold bead caps. One of those copper. And then our last lampwork bead. Last little series here before this coin. So we're going to be ending with the coin. Okay, and then that bead cap going towards our spacer. Pop on the little coil. Get him stuffed. That bead cap on the other side, and then our final little series area here. So we're going to do that spacer bead, then we'll bead cap our coin, and then we will do that little spacer series up after the coin bead. Okay, so I'll have to do it on this side still too. So then from here we'll do a spacer bead. We'll do that 4mm going towards the spacer. We'll put our little coin on. We'll stuff it. These 2 guys are really thin, so I'll do 2 of those. Oh, are they gonna fit? They were kind of thin, but they were a little more round. Yeah, there they go. Okay, grab a couple more of our bead caps. We'll have that one going away so it's down in the groove at the end, and then that spacer bead. Okay, let's go ahead and get our center found. I will then show you this a little more close up, and we'll do that last little part here for that coin for the spacer. Okay. So I'm going to bead bug one side of it, and we'll work up that one side. Okay, so real quick, I'll finish up this little bit of a series after our last coin. So we're going to do that spacer bead. We'll do a bead cap going towards it. Pop on one of these guys. I might put 2 on that one too, or in that one. Yeah, 2 will work. And that bead cap going away with that final little spacer bead. And this is going to be our focal part of this necklace. So let's get some of this out of the way. We're going to be using it all, trust me. So here is our focal. Isn't that just beautiful? I just love it. I love it. Lots of movement to it. Those little pops that come through there. I'm just absolutely loving it. Loving it, loving it. Beautiful, beautiful. That makes me really happy. Okay, so from here, whenever we are going up each side, we're going to do a couple little series, okay? And so with this series, it's not going to be like super complex. There's not a whole lot going on with it, but I think it's going to tie in beautifully with the center part, just beautifully. And so we're going to be pulling in some of that lapidolite here. So we're going to be pulling in those with one of these beauties in the middle, and then we'll have another little series. So we'll talk about that. Okay. So from here, I'm going to do the same bead cap scenario that I have on this lampwork bead. Okay, so from here, I'm going to come in with that Casey gold, and then we'll put on that copper, pop him on there, and then bead cap that other side. Okay, in the middle of these, I just want a little delica. So I think that delica is going to allow the Casey gold to more so pop. So it's just a little bit of something, something there. Okay, and it kind of goes into the top of that bead cap just a little bit. Just a little bit. So it just peeks out. It's not a big spacer. It just kind of is there a little bit. And then for our pearl, and these are gorgeous pearls. For our pearl, I'm just wanting one of these 4mm. Okay, so I'm going to pop on a 4mm bead cap. Our pearl, put a bead cap on that other side. Go ahead and grab a delica for our spacer. Okay, see how that goes? And then we're going to go right into that other 8mm. So we'll pop on our bead cap series. I just think all of these purples are so much fun, so much fun. And especially for me, because I don't work with purple a whole lot, you know. I think this box is changing my thought in that, because I'm really seeing, you know, so much more of the joy with this colorway. It's making me really happy. Really happy. So this is the first of the 2 series that we're going to have going up the side of the necklace. Okay, and so after this, I'm going to put on a spacer bead. And then we're going to bring in our amethyst. And the amethyst is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Loving it so much. Those facets are just dynamite, dynamite. And the only thing I want on that is a 4mm bead cap. Okay, so I'm going to do a little 4mm. Pop on that amethyst. I'm going to do a spacer bead on the other side. And then we're going to pull in these little hishis. These lapidolite hishis are just so cool. I love them. They are all very standard sized, right? So all of them are the same. Okay, it pulls in that, you know, that variation of the light purples. And I think it's just gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. And I love what my plan is for them. So I'm going to get out some of my other disc spacers. Okay. And ready for it? I'm going to get out some 3mm gold jump rings. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. It's going to be super cool. I promise. I promise. I promise. Okay. So from here, right? So here's our little series that's coming up from the focal. Okay. That's the start of that series. And then from here, I have that amethyst with the little spacer beads on each side. And then I'm going to come in here with one of those KC gold bead caps. Okay. I'm going to put one of our Hishi discs on. And then I'm going to do a jump ring, and then a disc, and then a jump ring, and then a Hishi, and a jump ring, and a disc, and a jump ring, and a Hishi. Okay. Let's bead cap that other end. Oh, it looks like this look is a little bit broken. Okay. He's seen better days, I think. Okay, and I'm going to show it up close, okay? But one sec. On the other side, we're just going to do that same thing with the amethyst. So we're going to have a spacer bead, that 4mm bead cap with our amethyst. Whoop. There we go. Okay, another bead cap. And then a spacer bead. So, the reason I wanted to do this is because with those wavy disc spacers, they especially look wavy whenever they have just a little something something in with them, right? And it gives just a little bit of a peek. You see if I'm kind of moving them out of the way so you can see just a little bit of a peek of that gold that's in there from the jump rings. So it doesn't give you too much spacing, I don't think. I think it's just gorgeous. And so this is how our series is going to look after our focal. And all I'm going to be doing is another one of these, and then another one of these, and that's all that's going to be going up the side. Okay. But I'm loving how this kind of sequence, I think it just pulls out all of those beautiful colors that are in those lampwork beads, and it helps your eye flow up through the piece. I think it's just beautiful. I was really excited about this design, and so that's why this morning I was like, I don't care, I need to get it done, and then I'll work. Okay, so all we're gonna do is another series of this. Okay, so I'm gonna pop on this KC gold and a little copper underneath of it. One of our 8mm. Bead cap that other side. Just have a delica in between. Okay, so a little copper delica. And then I'm just doing the 4mm bead cap with our little glass pearl, 8mm glass pearl. Is there two in there? Nope, it's just one. Okay, we'll do a delica in the middle. And we'll just do that other one. So we'll pop on that KC gold bead cap, get that copper on the underneath, pop on our 8mm, and bead cap the other side. I told you it's a real simple series that I'm wanting to do here, but oh, the pop. I'm just, yeah, super happy, super happy. So I'm going to do just one more of this series here. So from here, we're going to do that spacer. And then the 4mm bead cap with one of our amethyst. Another spacer bead. Okay, yeah, those. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to pop on one of these KC Gold bead caps, and then we're just doing that same thing. So it's going to be a Hishi disc, jump ring, followed by our wavy disc spacer, another jump ring, Hishi disc, jump ring, wavy spacer, jump ring, Hishi. So we end up with 3 of the Hishis and 2 of those wavy disc spacers, and then they're bead capped. And the 3mm jump ring is in between each of those. Okay, so we'll just do that other spacer series here. So the spacer, 4mm bead cap with our amethyst. And that there. Now, here's what I'm thinking, okay? Based on the size, I'm going to hold it up to me once I do this other side. I'm thinking I want to pop on a little coin bead series just to end it, okay? Just essentially have it be this, that kind of tops off up here, right? I think that'll be cute. But I want to get it all together first. And kind of gauge the size before I do that. I did get out for this necklace in particular, I did get out a little bit of chain. Here it is. This is all the chain that I have left of this kind, and it is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's that KC gold color. This is actually 18 karat gold plated. And then you see that little infinity? And then there's that little wavy oval, and then infinity and wavy oval, and it is just gorgeous. I love this. It's all I have left in it, and I think what I have left is going to be perfect for this closure. I also pulled in this chain for our little focal that will be for our other necklace, okay? The other necklace that we're doing with this one, I have a little infinity that I made. I have one of those charms that came in the box. Just made 3 little dangles here, and so it's the sizes here. It's one of my 4mm in the center, and then these 3mm, and then the rose gold crimp tube. You'd never know it's a crimp tube, right? And you'd also never know that part of this is KC gold and part of this is rose gold. See what happens whenever it's together like that? It just kind of melds into each other, you know? And so I popped on just 2 little links of that chain because I think it's going to look super cool, kind of dangling here for that second necklace that we're about to do. Just super cute, super cute. Okay, so anywho, let me roll this over. And then so that we can be super efficient, because we have a lot going on today, I'm going to get this other side knocked out, this other side, and then we'll be right back, okay? Okay, so we have both sides done now. Let's take a peek at it real quick. So let's get these sides together here. And this is what we have so far. And I just think it's gorgeous. I love how it's like pulling in all of those tones and colors from those lampwork beads. That's the focal. I just love it. I love it. I love it. So I do think I want to put one of the coin beads up at the top. Okay. And so I do have them out. Okay. And here's where we had ended with that last series, which was the 2 amethysts on each side of those lepidolite hishis with those wavy disc spacers. Okay. And then from here, all we're going to do is pop on a bead cap going towards that spacer bead, because we're going to be pulling in a couple more of our little coils. Oh, not that one. That's the focal for the next necklace. Okay, so we'll put in that coil there. We'll get something to stuff it. Okay, we'll do that other bead cap going away from it. spacer bead, and then a bead cap for our coin bead. Okay, and then we'll just bead cap the other side of it, and then it will be one little spacer bead at the top. Nope, it won't, because we're going to do that other coil. Okay, so we're going to do a spacer, or a bead cap going towards the spacer. We're going to pop on another coil, get something stuffed in that coil. Bead cap going away, another spacer bead, and that's where we'll end it. Extra little series. Yeah, I think that makes a big difference. I think it really helps to pull your eye all the way up through the piece. Love it, love it. Okay, so let's do that, and then we'll probably need to make a couple more coils, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So put that bead cap going towards the spacer bead. We'll pop on our little coil, give it a little bit of something in the center there, and the bead cap going away with the spacer. Then we'll bead cap for our coin. Okay, and then we'll pop on that last little coil. That's pretty little. We'll do another one. And that finishes it up. Now one moment here, because now the dogs are also deciding to eat. So give me just a moment here. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so let me see where this is laying on me real quick. And I do think I need just like an inch on each side, just like an inch. And for an inch, do I want to utilize the last of that chain that I have? Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to. But I think I'm only gonna need one piece. And then I can save that piece. Okay, so let's have this. Ooh, is that little end piece open? Is it cut? Or is it the light? Okay, it's just the light. Okay, and we do have an extra down here. Now I will need to take off the infinity that's with it. Okay, because that infinity is just too tiny to try to make any sort of connection with it. Okay, so I'll come down below that one. I'm gonna try to keep a hold of him so in case I need to use him for anything. There's that little infinity. Okay. And on this side, there's the rest of that infinity that I've already cut. Okay, just get that off there. And then I'm going to cut the next infinity. That way we have that one link out. Okay, I'm going to set that up there. Okay, so we have our two little sides. Yeah, not much, but I don't think I want to just put random beads up there. So here's that. Let's go ahead and end this out. So I do have my clamshell somewhere. There we go. So we'll need a couple of those, and I should have crimp tubes as well. A couple crimps. Okay, so we'll pop on that little clamshell. And we'll put that crimp right at the end. Really good squeeze there. Bring that clamshell up, close her off. Okay, so we'll slide it all down. I'm gonna go ahead and coil it up just to make sure we're good on that movement. Then we'll see how much of this wire I cut off, and that'll tell us where we're at with this necklace. Open that up a little bit. Make sure we're closed really good. Nice and crimped. Clip him off. We'll close him up. Okay. All right, so we're good here. Oh, how much was that? So about 5.5 inches. So, you know, right around 20 inches so far here. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of length, just a little bit. For this, I think I'm going to pull in our, so we're going to have this toggle that is the copper. Okay, so we're mixing that metal there as well. And I'll go ahead and do the copper jump ring. Oh, it's kind of a tougher gauge. Better make sure it'll fit in that hole. I think it should fit. If nothing else, just fit. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, we'll pop that little bit of wire on. That's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Wire, I meant chain. I said that last tutorial too. I called the chain wire. I'm just goofy. It's dainty, dainty chain, so make sure we're closed all the way. Yeah, that'll be pretty, and it's just at the very, very back of the neck. And this other necklace that we're going to be doing here in a second, it would be great layered and stacked with this. Of course, that's what I especially designed it for, but it would be awesome all on its own as well. It won't be complex at all. Just nice and easy peasy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, looky there though, it's closed all the way. Okay, so we'll come up here at the top with another couple jump rings, and we'll toggle this. And then when I'm closing up the other one, I'll probably skip past that just to help on timing a little bit. Oops. The neighbor does that all the time, constantly. Setting off their alarm. No, 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 Jasper, you're fine, buddy. It's fine, buddy. My little guard dog. Ooh, did you hear him? Okay. So the first necklace in our Pretty Pretty Purple series is done. Make sure he's closed all the way. I can get a good look at him. Oh yeah, he's good. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Super excited about all of these pieces today. Really, really excited about them. Just beautiful, right? Beautiful. Love it, love it. Okay, so let's move on to necklace number 2. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff out of the way. We need that. Okay, so on this necklace, I really wanted it to kind of pull in with this one, but also have its own, you know, statement to it, right? So I wanted it to be a supporting character, have a supporting role, but also be able to be the main star if it needed to be, or if we wanted it to be. Okay, so we are going to be pulling in the rest of these coils. Okay, and then I made this coil. Now, what I did when I made this coil is I made the first half of it. Okay, so I popped on and I did those 5. Okay, I did those 5, and then I took that infinity and I popped it on, and then I wrapped around it and did another 5 on the other side. That way that infinity will pop right up into the middle of this. It gives kind of that mixed metal. It's not too much, right? Because I didn't want too much of a pop going on for it. And I think it'll work out just perfectly, just perfectly. And so that's all that was. That's all that was. Okay. So for this one, that is going to be our focal. So let's go ahead and get that started. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this wire through there, and I'm going to come out. Okay. I've already put this together. We talked about it a little bit, but let's show it off a little bit more. Okay. And I wanted this, and actually that infinity is backwards. Yeah, that infinity is backwards. Let me go ahead and fix that. So the reason why I say it's backwards is because I don't want the opening of that top infinity to be where that chain is resting. That chain I want to be resting on the other side that's not the open side. Okay, oops, what am I doing? Let's see. So let me pop it off of our little pendant. Okay, swap that pendant towards facing the other way. Close it up really good. So that way, whenever this chain is resting, it's resting on that closed part and not the opening. Okay, and again, it's just 2 links of that chain popped on there just to give it a little extra flow. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put this on the way I want it to be. Okay, then I'm going to come in through there, and I'm going to put this where I need it to be. So I see where I went over it, right? That kind of closed part. It's going to be popping right over that. Okay, that way it just fits right in that little groove. See the way it fit in that groove? And then I'm going to pull that wire out some and pop it all the way through. So that is the way that bail is. And I think it's just kind of just what's needed. Just cute, not too much. you know, is exactly what I was looking for. Now I'm going to want to fill on both sides of this, okay, because it can't go through the center. And so let's bring in one of these on one side. And actually, yeah, I have another one. Okay, I was going to say I want it to be the same on both sides just in case, because there is a little bit of a hole there in the center. Okay, so that way it pops it up off of that wire. And then this is our little focal part. So on each side of that, I'm essentially going to do the same thing that we did whenever we were doing that spacer series here. So I'm going to come in with a 4mm jump ring, or 4mm bead cap, and I'm going to have that going away. Okay, so he's just resting there at the end. Then we'll do a little spacer bead. Okay, I'll do that same thing on the other side. Then we'll pop on that little spacer bead. Okay, so from here we're going to bring in some amethyst. And so I want that amethyst to be bead capped, so we'll do a bead cap. We'll do that amethyst bead. Then we'll bead cap the other side. We'll do a little spacer bead. And actually, instead of a spacer, let's do a crimp tube. Okay, let's do a little crimp on the other side here. And then let's pop on one of the roses. So on each side of the roses, let's do one of these little crimp tubes. That way it's just little, right? Just little. I'll go ahead and pop one on that other side with an amethyst. The other side, put on a little crimp tube, then we'll pop on one of our roses, another crimp tube. Okay, beautiful little focal, you know, not too overstated, not too much going on, but still very pretty in its own little right. Okay, I'm going to marry these two ends. I'm going to get where my center is, and then we'll work up that one side again. All right, so here's what I'm looking for. Gonna be simple, gonna be simple, gonna be fun, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so on the other side of this, it's just gonna be a little, kind of like a little series, right? So we're gonna do on each side of this, we're gonna do one of these amethyst. So I'll pop on another amethyst. Thought I saw him somewhere there. Okay. And then on the outside of the amethyst, just like on this over here, we're going to have that 3mm spacer bead. And then we're going to go into our little coils. Am I out of coils? Yeah, okay, then we're going to make a couple coils. Oh, no, here, I'll use these, okay, and then I'll make up a couple more here in a minute. Okay, so from here, we're going to do that same little series where that bead cap is going towards the spacer. We're going to pop on that coil. We are going to fill that coil. I think I used crimp tubes for part of the fillings, so I think that's what we'll do for the rest of the way there. Okay, and then I'll do another bead cap going away. Then we'll have that little spacer bead. Okay, All I'm doing now is on this other side of the coil, I'm going to do that same amethyst series that we have here. Okay, so we'll come in here with 4mm. Amethyst. Then on the other side, we're going to do this, just this crimp tube, because we're going to pop on another flower. Okay, and then we'll have that crimp tube on the other side of the flower. Then we'll just do that other amethyst, and that will be our focal. That's so cute. And then we're just going to do this other little coil here. Okay, so from here, we'll do that regular size spacer bead. We'll do that bead cap going towards it. We'll pop on a little coil. Oh, the coil's right there. Amy Shell. Oh, that's what my family, that's what my family calls me. Amy Shell. My middle name is Michelle. They call me Amy Shell. Okay. Do one going away. Then we'll pop on another spacer bead. So you see 2 crimp tubes fit in there really well as well. Okay. So from here, we're going to bring in our baby beads. Okay, so we're going to bring in our phosphiterite. I'm going to move these aside. Bring in that phosphiterite. We're going to be bringing in some of these little crimp tubes, some of our spacer beads. This is where also these bigger 4mm spacer beads come into play, as well as our little mix. Okay, so it's going to be just dainty and small all the rest of the way up. And here's what I'm looking for it. So from here, I'm wanting 3 of these guys and a crimp tube. And I'm going to do a series of 3 of those. Okay, so 3 of those, crimp tube, 3 more, crimp, and then 3 more. At the end of that, I'm going to go ahead and do a little crimp. And then I'm going to do 3 of these, but I think I want to kind of mix up the color a little bit, you know? I don't want it to be like matchy-matchy, super perfect, but I don't want it to be like all dark, all medium, and then all, you know, so I'm going to kind of just mix it up. So I'll do just 3 of these, nothing in between them. Okay, so we're just going to do 3 of these. We're going to pop on one of our spacer beads. Then I think I want to do a pink. I want that pink to kind of stand out all on its own, to have its own little kind of flare, I guess you could call it. So I'll do a little spacer bead on the other side of that pink. Okay, so we have these 3 with the spacer. We have, oh, I missed one. Silly Willy. So we'll do 3 of these. Spacer, pink, spacer bead. These are those 3mm spacer beads. Okay, and then on the other side, I'm going to do another 3. Okay, and I think I want it to be kind of varied as well. So let's do this color with a white in the middle. That'll be good. Let's do one of our bigger ones. Let's do another 3 on the other side. Let's do one of those, pop in one of those darks. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then I'm just going to do this other little bit right here on the other side. Okay, so after that bigger 4mm ball, I have the 3 there, and so now I'm going to do a little spacer bead, pink, spacer. I just want that pink to stand out all on its own. Okay. Then we'll just do another 3. And then we'll do a little crimp, okay, because that's how we start it here and end it. And we're going to do another one of these. So we'll do a series, 3 series of 3. So we'll do 3, do a little crimp tube, 3, little crimp, and then the final 3. Another crimp at the end of that. And then up at the top, we're going to do just a little more of our mix. Okay. And so on that mix, I kind of want it to start the same way, right? So we're going to have 3 of them. So I'll do this one. We'll throw in a white again. I love this mix. Okay, and then after these 3, we'll do that 4mm, that 3mm crimp, followed by pink with a crimp on the other side. Or not crimp, I'm sorry, spacer. Spacer, pink, spacer. And then we'll just come back down on this other. So we'll do this one, maybe pop a dark one on the middle. I'll do another one of them. Okay. And then I think we're going to end it out with that 4mm. Okay, because I think that's the length that I'm looking for. Okay, so let me bead bug this. We'll take a peek at it. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for. I have kind of that focal here for this one. And then we're just kind of going up, kind of pulling those varied purple shades. And the reason why I wanted to do it in this way is I think it collabs really well whenever it's meshed up against this necklace, okay, whenever it is being worn as, you know, 2 pieces stacked, right? And so we'll take a look at that whenever we come back. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the same thing on this side, okay, and I'll probably go ahead and cinch it up, and then we'll come right back here, we'll finish that out, and we'll do earrings and then a multi-strand bracelet. Yay! So here we are. Look, isn't it beautiful? I told you, it's so, so pretty. So the way this just kind of flows with each other is just incredible, I think. You know, at first I was thinking that I was overdoing these beads on this internal strand, on this, you know, supporting strand, but I don't think so. I really love how it melds all of those colors together. It really flows everything together beautifully, I think, you know. And so that is necklace 1 and 2. That is for the first set. Okay, and then, so let's knock out the earrings. Okay, we'll knock out the earrings here first, and then we will do that bracelet. Okay, I always wait for the earrings till last, and you know, earrings shouldn't always be an afterthought. Earrings shouldn't always be the last thing, you know. So we're gonna knock those out. So here's the findings and the things and stuff for the earrings. I did adjust my camera a little bit. I hope that angle's a little bit better for you guys. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. So I'm gonna show you what the finished earring looks like. So I'm really happy with this. So this is the finished earring, okay? And so it has essentially that same little dangle style that the pendant has on that supporting strand, that inside secondary strand. And the chain that I used on that first necklace here, that chain, I have 2 of those little links, just like I did for the other pendant, and that's what I attached these 3 little dangles to. I have that infinity link, right? And then I have one of our coin beads, and it looks like, if you look here, that looks like one of our coils, right? It's not. It's a couple jump rings stacked on top of each other. And then here for this earring finding, I put a couple delicas on there and a couple crimp tubes just to kind of accentuate that a little bit more. So that's what we're going to be doing, is making the other earring just like this, and I think it goes beautifully for the set. Beautifully. So let's knock it out. I already have the dangles here. So I have these dangles. I have attached them to the chain. Okay. And I can set that aside. I have my infinity that's going to be connecting that here. So let's work on this part. Okay. So we're going to recreate that. And all I have here, I have a eye head pin that's in copper. Okay. And at the very bottom, I'm going to put one of those delicas. So where that loop already is at the bottom, I'm going to pop on a delica just to give it that little kind of finished look. I like to do that. I'm going to put on a 4mm spacer bead here. Okay. And then on top of that, I'm going to do 2 of these 4mm jump rings. Okay, but I need to fill them. Okay, and so to fill them, see, because they're just going to kind of hang goofy like that, and this one I think needs a little more squishing. Yeah, here I might swap him. I just go through with my pliers and just squish them, you know. What did I want to do? Oh, I wanted to put a couple of these on. That's what I'll do. So I'll do a couple of these here. That's what our jump rings are going to go on top of. There we go. So I only need one. Okay. Now once I put that coin bead on, it's going to cinch that down, so it's not going to want to move at that point. Okay. So on top of this, let's come in with one of our 4mm bead caps. Let's pop this little coin bead on. And I was super excited because these 2 coin beads match really, really well. Really well. And that looks like that spacer bead's a little bit bigger. Let's try a delica. And we'll pop these 2 on. We'll go back for that bead cap and back into our coin, and then let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's a little bit better there. Okay, so we have those 2. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing on top. So I'm going to put bead cap on top of this. Let's go ahead and pop on a delica. We'll do 2 of those jump rings on top of that. Okay, and then those 2 are going to be stacked. Push this down in there. And those 2 are going to be stacked and cinched down with an amethyst. So you see that I put a bead cap on, popped on that amethyst, so it's kind of graduating up. Okay, and see how that really holds that into place. I'm going to bead cap the top of that. I'm going to do one of the 4mm spacers on top. And then just to polish that look off, I'm going to do a 4mm copper bead. And I get these copper beads also from Beadbox Bargains website. Okay. And then on top of all of this, I'm going to put a little spacer bead, little crimp tube. Okay. So that is what we're looking at. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, so I am going to want these loops to go in the same direction. All right, so I'm going to come in here with my pliers. I'm going to grab a hold of him. Give a nice little bend. And I'm not going to need to cut much of that off. Pretty close to where I am anyways. for me on a simple loop, I'm right about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Give him a little kick back, just so he's a little matchy-matchy. Okay, so just a little bitty guy on top, see? I want to make sure he's closed all the way though, and you see he's not. Okay. I keep shifting up here. Just a little pinch. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to straighten this out, make sure everyone's straight and happy. I'm going to come in here and make sure that my loops are even. So I'll go ahead and use my round nose ones. It'll grab a hold all right. Okay, that looks good. And then from here, let's go ahead and talk about the top here, and then we'll work on that bottom. So on the top, what I'm wanting is, I'm wanting to embellish this, right? So I don't use these kind of ear wires very often, but this is the exact color I was looking for. So I was like, yeah, you know, that's just gonna happen. So here, since it already has that ball here at this end, I went ahead and I popped on, I think I used all my little delicas, so I'll borrow a couple. So I put on a delica, because what I'm looking to do when I first put this on is I'm looking to fill this part here. So I'm going to do a delica, and then I'm going to do another little crimp bead. Okay, and then my actual finding here, my link will hang just below that. So now when I pop this on, that's what we're looking at. And then we have that, right? So it gives it just a little something something. And I may have actually, let me take a peek. Yep, that's all I did. When it cinches, it gets a little bit tighter. You see here, I did 2 there, and then I did the 3 behind it. So 2 there, pop this on, and then I will do a crimp tube, a delica, and a crimp tube. Okay, so now those are going to sit on that side. So then whenever I come in here to cinch this, because that's what keeps it all on there, right? You can cinch it here. Gotta be careful. There, it cinches it, and now we have this cutesy little ear wire that goes with that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so for the bottom part here, I'm going to pop on my infinity. So I did mine, I used a head pin, okay? And then for the bottom part of the loop, instead of doing the 1.5, I used the 2.25, so that the bottom loop would be just a little bit bigger than the top loop. And I'm wanting, whenever I put this on, I want the infinity part, let me look here where the front is. Yes, so I want the part that I'm closing to be towards the back of this, right? So here, I'm wanting that to be towards the back, so that down here in the infinity, whenever this part's dangling, it's not open there. Kind of like what we did here with the pendant, because I don't know, I'm pretty sure I attached it. Let's look at where I attached it actually. That's pretty bad. I don't remember, you know, so much about doing this earring. It's terrible. Oh, I put it directly on there. Oh, easy peasy. Okay, I like that. Okay, all right, I like that. I'm so smart. You know, initially, it's been a long day. So I did this morning. I was supposed to come right back with you guys, and instead had to log on and work. I lost one of those. So I just got off work I'm wanting to finish this out so that I can get it released tonight. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to close it back again so that that crimp tube doesn't come out. There we go. I don't think it'll come out now. Okay, so up here I went ahead, it looks like, and I attached my dangle up here, and it looks like I attached it right behind that infinity link. So at this point I'm just wanting to mock, right? First one's already been done. I'm just wanting to copycat what I've already done. Grab you like this. Thank you. There we go. Sometimes these are the hardest things, right? There we go. I want to keep him down in there. Cinch them all the way closed. So now we are looking at our infinity link and the dangle both being connected directly to that link, to that loop at the bottom of the link, so that the only thing that's connecting to that infinity is our little charm. Okay, so when I open this up, after I open it up, I want to be conscious of where the front is. Okay, so when this hangs, okay, so I'm hanging this on the front. See, that opening is in the front. Okay, so I'm going to grab that opening that opens in the front, and I'm wanting my charm to go on in that same way. Close that up real good. And now we know it's going the right direction. We have another earring. Isn't it so cute? I just love it. I just love it. And I love that graduation, that little graduation of those little beads. Yay, happy stuff. Okay, so let's make a bracelet. Okay, so the way I'm wanting this bracelet to go is I'm doing a double strand, and I want it to be a simple double strand. Okay, a double strand that is going to go into a single strand. And the single strand is going to be like yay big, because I just want it to be a little link that shows off that guy. So good, so good. So I went ahead and put this onto a bead bug, and I have this to 5 inches. Okay, but let's first do our link that it's going to be connecting to. So let's come in here. I'm going to do a wrapped loop, and this piece is too big. This is a piece of 20 gauge bronze wire, and this is a scrap piece that I had. You're probably looking at maybe 4 inches that you'll need. A little wrapped loop. I'm wanting that to be a little bit closer in. There we go. Now let's peek at the back of it. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to straighten that there. Then we'll trim that up. I shouldn't have lotioned my hands, but when I got off work, of course I had to run to the ladies. I had needed to for about an hour, like maybe an hour and a half. It was bad. I was desperate. And so then I just did what I do, you know, I washed my hands, got them scrubbed up, and then put on the lotion. And I was like, ooh. I was thinking, do I have to make any more of those little spacers? No, I don't. I should be okay. Well, I'm feeling it right now with this. It's a very real thing. Very real. Okay, so for this, what I'm wanting is I want to put on first a spacer bead. And I'm going to do this little series right here. Okay, so I'm going to put on a spacer bead. I'm going to do a bead cap facing towards that spacer bead. I'm going to pop on one of our little coils. I need to fill it, so I'm going to grab a couple of these little crimp tubes. Fill that up. Yep. And then I'll do a bead cap going away. Another one of our little spacers. So that's how we're starting there. Yep. Then we're going to double those bead caps just like we did here. So I'm going to essentially recreate this without that little spacer series that's right there. Okay, so I'm going to come in here with Casey Gold, and then I guess I could bring a couple down, and then the copper, our beautiful lampwork bead. I am just absolutely in love with these lampwork beads. I love them. Love them. Okay, and so we'll pop on the other side of that bead cap, and then we're just going to continue that series down, so it's going to look just the same on the other side. So we'll do a little spacer bead, do a bead cap going towards that, pop on one of our little guys here, put two of these on, get them to fill that hole. We'll do another bead cap to kind of finish that out, and then just another spacer bead. So yeah, of course my piece of wire was far too long. Okay, so this is going to be our connector for the two strands are going to go into this, and then this is going to feed into that closure. And we'll give it just a couple wraps here. Made that neck a little narrow. Get him cinched down in there so he's not bulky. I don't want it to be bulky on there. There we go. Trim that off. And give a nice little pinch on that end so we don't have anything poking us. Okay, so there's that part. Now the bracelet itself is going to come together pretty darn quick. Okay, so let's come in here. We will still need some of those double bead caps, so we're going to be needing that. We're going to need the crimps. We're going to need these last two coils. Yeah, we'll need all these. We'll need all the things and stuff. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and separate these two strands so that we can work on them separately. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to even bead bug that. Okay, so in the center of this one, I want to bring in that Alexandrite bead. Love that so much. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bead cap it the same that we bead capped our lampwork beads. Okay, so I'm going to pop this guy on. We're going to do that copper and the Casey Gold. Beautiful. He's going to be right in the center, and he's going to have a spacer bead on each side. Okay, then let's bring in our delicas here, and there they are. Okay, and so from here we're going to do a delica, a phosphorite bead, and a delica. Okay, and actually I'm going to go ahead and bead bug that side now. Okay, so we have these little guys here. Doesn't that look really cute? I really like that. Okay, and then we're going to come into that coil series. So we're going to do a little spacer bead. We'll do that bead cap going towards that spacer bead like we've been doing. I probably don't need to talk it through each time, but hey, you know, I've just kind of been doing it. Okay, I think we're going to need a couple more crimps because, yeah, I'm going to need a couple more probably. Okay, so we'll pop a couple of those in there. It's just going to fill him up. We'll do that bead cap going away, so it's snuggled up in there with a spacer bead. Okay, super cute. And then we're going to do this on the other side. So we'll come in with the delica, little phosphorite, and with this one we're using those rounds. The round ones came in the companion bundle. Okay, and then another delica on the other side. So I was really wanting to pop some of that copper in here that wasn't only from the little coils that we had and from the bead caps, you know. And so from here, these beads I think are so much fun. These came in that companion bundle, and I am telling you, they are bright, like bright. So before I start them, let's pop on a spacer bead. Then we'll just do one of these and our little phosphorite beads, and then another one. Okay, we'll do that spacer bead afterwards. Then we'll do another little series of these three. That's cute. And then I think I wanted to do another series of this as well, I'm pretty sure. So let's then come in here with a spacer. We'll see if it fits, and then we'll know for sure if that's what I was thinking. This morning seems like forever ago. Oh, the season is upon us. And if I'm remembering right, I don't think we did it all. I don't think I did it all. I think I just ended it there, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to do that for right now. I'm going to knock out the other side. We'll check that length, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm going to bring this all the way down to the edge. And we're just going to do that same little series here on the other side. Okay, so from here, we're going to come in with that delica, phosphorite, and a delica. We're going to do our little spacer, bead cap going towards it, pop on our other little coil, fill it up, do that other little bead cap, and pop on that spacer. Oh, those pops, like seriously, right? Those pops just, that's where it's at for me. That's totally where it's at for me. I am in love when those happen. And that's what mixing metals does for me. Absolutely does. It is just happy stuff. Okay. And then from here I did, spacer. Come in here with these guys. These little phosphiterite are so nice. They are nice little beads. Like, I'm really impressed. You know, I had never even heard of phosphiterite. Didn't know what it was. Yeah, we're going to be at the end. And I knew I was going to be utilizing all of this, but these 2 strands that I'm using for this bracelet, they are also, it was a 1 scrap piece that I cut in half. And that's what made me decide that I was going to make this from a double strand to a single strand, because I needed this to be short. And I'm okay with that. Okay, so we're going to do that little spacer bead. Oh, I already did a spacer bead. Doing one of these guys and one of these. We'll do a little delica on the tip. And yeah, we are like at the end of the rope on these. So let me grab another bead bug would be good. Okay, so there is strand 1. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, so for strand 2, we're going to have that offset. So right in the middle, I'm going to do that series of I think I'm going to need more of those. The phosphiterite here with a delica in the middle between 2 of them. Okay, that's going to be that offset to that big bead, that alexandrite bead that is in the middle of that other strand. Okay, so we're going to have this, and on each side we're going to do a little spacer bead. Okay, so when this is setting in the center of the bracelet, it's up against that bigger bead right there. So that's where our offset's going to come in, because then I'm going to do this alexandrite bead on both of these sides. So it's going to be flanking from the other strand on either side. Okay, so let me go ahead and bead bug this. I should do that. Especially because, if you can't tell, I'm kind of in a hurry. I want to get this video out tonight. I really, really want to. I've been wanting to make this ever since I got the companion bundle, but you know, things and stuff, right? Okay, all right, so here, I'm going to put on my Casey gold. I'm going to put on my copper alexandrite bead, and then copper and Casey gold. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work all the way up this side. From here, I want a spacer bead. And then the series that I'm looking for after that is pulling in these big 7-8 millimeter beads, these phosphorite beads. They're just, I said phosphorite beads. Okay, we're going to pull these guys in, and these beauties are going to be that little spacer in the middle. They're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I want to bead cap these with just this 4 millimeter. Okay, and I'm going to bead cap the phosphiterite here. I'm going to pop on one of our beautiful little crystal beads in between, and then pop on another phosphiterite here. And am I out of bead caps? Yeah, let me grab a couple. Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna need more of those. Actually, what am I saying? I already have them on the way. They take a little bit now. They take a little bit. The link that I put down there, it used to be a container just full of them, and now it's, you know, like 1,000 bead caps per order, but it's still a good price. It's whatever. It is what it is. But I love them. Super universal, just super universal. Okay, on the other side of this, I'm going to pop on one of our little delicas. And after that, I'm going to bring in these guys. I'm going to do that little series, and we do need some more phosphorite beads. And here is that companion bundle. Yeah, you see all the happiness I have in here? Yeah, I still have a lot of creating to do. I'm excited. Who knew I would be so inspired by purple? I'm telling you, I would have never, ever thought that. No way. I was a huge tomboy growing up. I just wanted to be outside playing. I wanted to go ride horses. I wanted to ride my bike. I wanted to skateboard. You know, I wanted to do all the things that to me seemed like they were fun. You know, all the stuff that had to do with being inside of the house and foo-foo in your hair or whatever that seemed just boring and lame, you know? Oh. And so I've just never been a big fan of pink and purple, especially the blingy stuff, you know, until just a couple years ago. And it was funny because I had a foreign exchange student from Pakistan, Nori, and she too did not like pink. She was not a pink fan. Neither of us were a pink fan. We thought that was really funny that two girls, you know, didn't like, neither of us liked pink, right? And so I'm going to get a couple more spacer beads. By the time she ended up leaving and going back home, it was so strange because we both had been like drawn into pink during the time she was with us. And it was so strange. So she blamed me. I blamed her on our newfound love for pink and our draw towards pink. I'm still not a hot pink person. You know, that fuchsia really got me. I think that fuchsia is absolutely gorgeous. But that dusty rose, ooh, one of my favorite colors now. And it's seriously a shocker to me. It absolutely is shocking. Still, it's Nori's fault. I'll tell you, speaking of Nori, when I'm redoing the same section here, right? It was Nori that pushed me into starting my YouTube channel. So I had made many things for her. I thought it was just so fun with, you know, her culture and the vibrant golds that she loved so much that I was never drawn towards. You know, it opened my eyes to so much. And so she kept saying, Ami. Ami in Urdu is mother. Ami, you need to teach people what you're doing. You need to show them what you're doing. You need to go on YouTube. And I was like, I just love my beads. You know, I love to design and I love my beads. And I'm probably too over the top for most people anyways. Right? And so I promised her that I would upload a video before she left. I uploaded my first video on June 7th of 2024. That was my birthday. I had taken the day off work that day and I was like, okay, here it goes. I'm going to do it. And she had to leave to go back to Pakistan on the 11th of June. So yeah, so that's what pushed me to do my first video, to actually share what I do on YouTube with you all. So forever grateful for that little push. Like so many of us, I was like, nobody wants to see what I'm doing. I mean, I was watching and oogling over Wendy Whitman and, you know, so many greats, and yet here we are. And I am so happy. I am so happy. All right, let's look at our length. So here's what I was thinking here, right? So here's this offset. And is this just not beautiful? So let's see what our size is and how we need to make some changes. Okay, so let me bring this all the way down to the end, and I will measure this one. This is right there, that centimeter short of 4.5. Okay, and then this one, make sure it's all cinched down there. This one is, oh, right at 4.5, so not by much. Wow, not by much. Okay, so let's see. What if, Okay, so why don't I leave that? And then what I'll do is I will do this spacer. I'll do a little phosphoderite bead. And then our crimp. And let's see if we are closer to even then. So let me come down here. Ooh, this is gonna be fun to crimp. To close up with that clamshell. Oh yeah, I'm at the tip. But I am utilizing extra wire that I had. Oh, and this is Soft Flex medium, that same metallics. That's what I'm using here. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that. I may have to just shorten this one. I think I am. I think I'm going to shorten it because I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Okay, so if I left this just like this, right, we're at 4.25. Okay, so then on this one, to make it a little bit shorter, I'm going to take off that phosphoderite bead and I'm going to put that delica back on. Yeah, because I don't think I would be able to close that. I took it way too far. Okay, so let's take that end off and still put that delica on. Okay, so now let's see where we are with this length. Haha, 4.25. All right, done, deal, that works. Whew, right? Oi, oi. Okay, so hang with me, okay? I'm not wanting this video to be super long, so hang tight. I'm gonna close these up and then I'll be right back. All right, so I have these closed up. I brought out some jump rings and our link that we made. So I think this is just beautiful, and it is a beautiful offset here. I think that's just gorgeous. Isn't that just so pretty? Very good offset to each other. I love that centerpiece of them. So happy. Okay, so if we're talking about length now, if we put these out, we know what the length of these were before our clamshells. So if we was to add this, we're looking at just over 6, about 6.25. That works because I am 6.25, 6.5. Okay, a little more towards 6.5-ish, right? But that'll work. So let's get that closed up, and then we can move on to that second set. I was just so excited about both of these options as sets that I don't know, I just kind of felt like I needed to. And this is a pretty good size jump ring. I'm going to put them all together on one. These strands aren't too involved. they're easy, they're lightweight, and so I think it will work just fine if they're all connected in this way. I don't think we're going to have kinking problems. Even if we add dangles, I think we're going to be just fine. Okay, and so I'm going to come over here on this side, and I'm going to pop these both on. Make sure these are the way they want to go. Make sure I'm not, nope, I twisted them. So you kind of want them to go in whatever direction they're naturally wanting to go in, because that's going to keep them from wanting to kink in on themselves whenever they're put together, right? So these two essentially want to be like this. So I'm going to pop him on and pop him on. And then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and do our toggle. So I'm going to do the round part here, because for that bar section, I really want to have a little extra room just to help that bar get through. And so my extra room is definitely going to come here. And I think I'll use, do I still have a little bitty? Yeah, I do. I'm going to use one of these for this connection. Okay, just to make it easy and not to lengthen this anymore. And then I am going to go on to the other set, but if we have time, then, and if Squirt isn't yelling at me by then we'll make some dangles together that goes for this. Otherwise, I'll have to make those dangles afterwards. A little more. I thought for sure I would get this tutorial knocked out this morning, and I just didn't. Things kept delaying me from getting started, and I was like, I don't care. If all I do is get the focal of one of these done, I'm gonna start it. I've been wanting this. I'm starting it. So let's see how I did here with the length. Oh gosh, that is so pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm gonna like this. Yes. Oh, that is gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. Love that. Love that. And usually this part, I'll bend a little bit. See, so it fits real nicely. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I am loving it. I love this set. I love this set. Oh gosh, I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys love it. Oh, that is just beautiful. That is so my vibe. So my vibe. Okay. I'm going to go get the stuff out for the second set, and then I'll be right back with you. Yep, here we are for the other set. So we are going to do a 3-piece set. We're going to do a necklace, a double strand bracelet, and a pair of earrings. And what we are pulling in is also from that companion bundle and the box, okay? So we are pulling in these beautiful faceted rondelle beads. Okay, this is from the box, this is from the bag. We're pulling in the aventurine, the 10 millimeter aventurine, and that's actually what the inspiration was for this necklace set, was those beads. I love them. We're going to be pulling in the lepidolite here in those barrel beads. We're also pulling them in the 8 millimeters, just a couple of those. Over here on this side, this is going to be for the bracelet. Okay. We're pulling in some of those bead caps that came in the box, plus some bead caps that I get from Beadbox Bargains website, and I really love these bead caps. You've seen me probably use them before. I really like them, and for certain beads, they are just my go-to. I can't get out of it. I can't stay away from it. Okay, I'm bringing in some more of those wavy disc spacers and that copper. We are doing gold and copper with this. Instead of the Casey gold, rose gold, we're doing that bold, bright gold, for this one. Okay, now what I've also pulled in from my stash, I kind of had to, right? I have these little bicones, and these just hit so well. They just meshed so well with the color vibe that I was going with. I had to use them. I was I was limited on the crystals anyways that was in that winter mix because I didn't have very many left from what I'd already used. And so these really just fit the bill on what I'm looking for. I'm super excited about this one. And what we're going to be using today for the beading wire is also that metallics, soft flex and medium, that copper color. Okay. I have for the necklace, this is cut to 21 inches. And for the bracelet, I have two of them cut at 8 inches. Okay, that's where we're rolling. I'm using the last toggle that's in the box. And then also a small toggle that I'll pull in for the bracelet that came from Beadbox Bargain's website. So all caught up, a little bit caught up, kind of caught up. Let's do this. Our focal is going to be one of these beautiful barrel beads. Right down there in the center are pretty focal. And what I'm looking for in the bead cap scenario is similar to the other set that we just did, but it's going to be opposite. So for this one, I'm coming in with those first, those gold that I love so much that come in that mix. It's the same mix that the copper came in from that last set that we just got done with. And then I'm going to be pulling in, for these barrels, I'm pulling in the bead caps that came in the box, okay? And so you see how that also gives just that little peak there that is oh so happy. That is good stuff. So I'm going to bead cap that other side. So we'll pop that in there. There we go. And then we're also going to do that little spacer bead. So we're going to go ahead and knock out a spacer bead on both sides. And the spacer bead that I'm looking for, you see I have a few different ones out here. I have some 3mm, some 2mm, and some crimp tubes. Okay, so we're on the focal. So I'm going to pull in those pretties, you know, bigger ones. We're going to pop in those 3mm. And I got all of these. Actually, I'm pretty sure, either this size or this size, one of the two came from Beadbox Bargains. Whichever other size came from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so I'm going to be knocking this out. I am pulling this in, and I'm wanting to pull in some of our wavy spacers. And when I pull in these wavy spacers, you see that some of them are a little bit brighter than the others. Okay, it's from 2 different batches that I had ordered. I'm perfectly fine with mixing them up. Okay, so they're just going to get mixed up, and that is just fine. And what I'm looking for with that is I'm wanting to pull in one of these. Okay, so I'm going to do one of these, and then on the in-between I'm pulling in, these are 4.5mm daisy disc spacers in that antique gold from Beadbox Bargain's website. I just got these. I had gotten the 4mm and the 4.5mm, and I'm using the 4.5mm for this today. Okay, so we're going to be doing kind of that stack. Okay, so I'm going to come right back in with another wavy disc and another one of our spacers, and then one more of these wavy discs. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at, and this is going to be on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out that other side real quick. So we'll put on one of our wavies, a daisy, a wavy, a daisy, and a wavy. Oh, that just amuses me far too much. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to bead bug one of these sides. We're going to work up that one side. Okay. So I'm going to marry those ends. Let's get this right to about center, and then I will bead bug that off. And what I might do is I might do a little bit up here and then a little bit up here and then work the rest of the way up, but that way I can kind of oogle at the focal with you. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go into a series, and just like the other one, I'm going to have just a couple series going on here. Okay, it's going to be kind of dramatic looking because that's what I'm looking for, but very simple to do. Very simple to do. Okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use our medium-sized, our little 2mm for these spacer beads now. So I'm going to come in here with one of these spacer beads, and I was looking for something that was kind of graduated. Okay, so with this, I'm going to bring in these guys. Okay, so I'm going to have this smaller spacer, that's on this side here, and then I'm going right into it. So we are going to have one of our bicones, okay? And then for these little faceted rondelle beads here, I'm going to bead cap those. Okay, so I'm going to put a bead cap on this here. It's almost going to be like an every other too, right? So we have the darker purple, the lighter purple, and then I'm going to come in here with one of these rondelles that came in the companion bundle, and I'm not going to bead cap it at all. I know, I'm not going to bead cap it at all. Okay, so then we're going to come right back down that series. So we're going to go back down with one of these that's bead capped, followed by one of our little bicones, followed by a spacer bead. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do this other little section. Okay, so I'm going to then, from here, I'm going to come in with our aventurine, and our aventurine is going to be double capped as well, but I'm going to be using those other bead caps. So I'm going to come in here, sorry, I'm going to come in here with one of my beautiful star bead caps, and you see how that spacer bead just kind of nuzzles right up in there. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to come in with one of those. I'm going to put my gold on the inside of it, and this is going to be capping our aventurine. So I'll come right back on that other side. Bead cap that, spacer bead. Okay, on the other side of this, I'm just doing the same series. Okay, so I have this here is the focal, this series, my aventurine, and this series again. So I'm going to come right back in here with the bicone, and then I'm going to cap our beautiful little faceted odd rondelle. What are those called? English cut faceted crystal beads in lavender. That's what they're called. I love them. I love them. I've had them before and they are just great. I mean, they are cool in pretty much any design you want to put them in. Okay, so this is going to be our series. Literally, it's this that you're seeing right here. Isn't that so cool together though? Oh, I just love it. All right, let me do this bottom focal part here for this other side, and then we'll stick and finish up one side, and then I'll finish up the other. So I'm going to essentially be doing the same exact thing on this side. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here with one of our smaller spacers. We'll do that bicone. We will cap our little 6mm, 5mm faceted English cuts. Pop us one of these beauties on. Come right back down that line. Okay, then we'll come in here with our aventurine. So we're going to double that up. That way I'm not reaching across and then you guys can't see what's going on, right? Okay, so we're going to do that gold on the inside. Oh, the pop it gives. It is just so happy. Cap that other side. Get us a little spacer bead in there. and jump right back into our little series. So bicone, 4mm bead cap, faceted 5mm English cut beads, pop one of these in the center, and come right back down that line. And then guys, stay tuned. I will have a video at the end of this tutorial. It'll be 2 videos of what my lunch break typically is with Squirt. He plays and it's super, super fun, super, super cute. And I'm going to share that with you. And then after he kind of goes crazy and plays, he always wants to settle right in and just like, give me my mom. And I just gobble that up, of course. And it reminded me to tell you that because he is like ready for me to be done. You know, like, haven't you been working long enough? I'm done. I'm done. I'm ready to play. Okay, so from here, all I'm going to be doing is repeating this and then repeating this. Okay, that's all this is going to be. And oh, it's going to be so pretty. Do I say that every time? Yeah, I think I do. Actually, I think I do. So we're going to come in here with a wavy disc spacer. We're going to pop on a daisy, a wavy, a daisy, and a wavy. Okay, we're going to bring in those bigger ones for each side of our barrel bead. So instead of it being the little spacer, it's going to be the bigger one on each side of him. So I'll bring in that 3mm. Okay, we'll do that same, oops, I don't want that one, I want this one. We'll do that bead cap situation here. Okay, so bead cap from the box. Underneath of it is some bright gold. Pop on our little barrel tube bead there. Gold, copper, bigger spacer bead, then right back into wavy daisy. Okay, sorry. So wavy disc spacer and a little daisy bead. Are you saying wavy daisy? I know you are. Oh, so good. Okay, let's do that spacer bead. And then let's just simply jump right back into our series. So let me bring this down so that we're seeing what this looks like as I am putting it together. Okay, you'll kind of see it coming together now. Okay, so here we are here. And then from this point, I'm going back into bicone. Oh boy. There we go. Okay, pop this guy on the center. And come right back down that line. Okay, and we'll go ahead and pull in that aventurine. So we'll come in here with our copper bead cap, our gold, that beautiful, beautiful aventurine, gold, copper, and then from here we'll go back into that same little series. Okay, so one more time here. Okay. I just love how these colors have just really spoken to me. Like, whole different level. Whole different level. I am absolutely loving this. I'm loving every single second of it. And I'm supposed to get my Black Friday order. It says that it should be here on Saturday. So super stoked, super stoked. I may have a haul video before that though, because I already have one of my orders that I had gotten before that from Beadbox Bargain site and from a couple other places. To be advised at a later date. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here for just right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go up that other side. We're going to do this together. I'll probably close it up on my own, but we'll do this a little more together. Let's go ahead and bug this just in case. Okay, so over here where we are getting started is the wavy disc spacer series. So we're going to do the wavy disc spacer and a little dotted rondelle. Okay, and then from here we're going to have that bigger bead. Oh, here you are. So we'll do this bigger one here, and then we're going to pop in from the box. So there's that. Here's from the box. So that one's not. Okay, so we'll bring this in. We'll line it with that gold. We'll bring in our other little barrel here. Then gold, copper, 3mm, back into the daisies and wavies. So wavy spacer, daisy, wavy spacer, daisy, and wavy. I just love it. We'll do that small 2mm spacer bead, and then right back in our series. This will be bicone, bead cap the English cut, pop on one of the crystals, English cut, bicone. Okay, then we're going to do that spacer bead, and we're going to pop in this aventurine. So we'll have that star bead cap. We'll also do that gold on the underneath there. Pop on this beauty here. Back to our gold. Copper. Okay. We're almost caught up with the other side. It goes quick. It's gonna go quick. That strand as well, that double strand bracelet, totally will go quick. I will always, if I know one's gonna be quicker than the other one, the quicker one will always be at the end. It just is the way I roll. So we have our bicone, 4mm cap, Okay. There's that. Okay, and we're caught up. Okay, so I can tell that this isn't going to be long enough, but my last couple barrel beads I don't want to pull in because I don't have any of these disc spacers left. I have like 3 left, maybe 2. 2, 3? Let's see. 4. I have 4 of them left. That's not going to cut it, okay? So here's what I'm thinking. This is why I brought these out, just in case. I think that's going to work out pretty well. Okay, so what I'm thinking for that, since I'm not going to be doing these here, is not as dramatic, right? I don't want it to be as dramatic, but if I come in here first with one of these spacer beads, right, then I can come in here with daisy spacers and do a copper one followed by a gold one. Okay, so it gives me that little bit of space, that little bit of, you know, offset like these give down here, right, but just on a lower scale. Okay, I'm going to pop on one of our spacer beads. And then we are going to hop right into that. Now, I think these look better than the flat ones. The flat ones are great for those hishis, like the flat ones that came in the box. Perfect for those. Perfect for those hishis. For these, because they're flat. I'm just not a big fan of these on a rounded bead. Just not. Okay, so we're going to double that up. We'll pop him on. Double our other side. Then we'll just do the same little bit on the other side. So we'll do that little spacer bead. And then we'll bring in that gold, followed by that copper, and finishing out with a spacer bead. Love that. Love that. Oops. Make sure I'm good here. Now, before I go the rest of the way, let me just quickly make sure I'm not missing anything. Nothing went awry. Yep, looks good. Even if I do say so myself. And I do. Okay, so we'll get a little spacer bead on there. Then from there, we're going to pop in the copper, followed by that gold, another spacer. We'll get our bead caps rocking here. Bring that other one down. Okay, get a couple of those gold for the underneath. Our 8mm. It pulls that color up, you know, as well. It's not the same size, it's not the same shape, but it pulls that same color, and so it will draw the eye. I think it'll be just breathtaking, actually. Okay, and so let's just do that last two. So now we'll do that gold first, followed by our copper, followed by spacer bead. Love it, love it. Okay, so let me check the length, because who knows, maybe we'll do a little more, but let me pull it up to myself. Nope, I don't want it any longer. I do not want it any longer because I don't want this one to be a long one. I don't want it to be a long one. I don't want it any longer. This is perfect for me. So what we're looking at before closures is, okay, 6 to there. Okay, 18 inches. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, I'm going to close this out, okay? I'm going to close this out. I'm going to throw some jump rings on it, and then we'll come back and we'll do earrings and then the bracelet, okay? All right, so this is the earring we're going to be making. Just so pretty, and I'm using that little infinity link. Very simple, but just so pretty. So pretty. So we're gonna make another one of those. And look at this necklace. I love it. I love it, love it. This is gonna be like an almost everyday wear thing for me, right? So here, let's take a peek at it. So here is our second necklace. Just beautiful. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Super duper. Okay. That will get worn all the time. I will wear that all the time, all the time, all the time. Everyday wear right there. Okay. Yeah, I like it a little bit. So let's knock this out and then let's go over to our bracelet after that. So I'm going to make sure that this is closed all the way. Okay, so we're good there, right? Okay, and so I'm going to come in here and it's going to be essentially the same on both sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the very bottoms, I'm going to do a little crimp tube. Okay, so just a little baby crimp tube down there. I really like, again, that little something something that hits on the bottom of these things. We're going to pop in a bicone. Okay, after the bicone, I'm going to come in with a 2mm spacer. And then we're going to do that little wavy disc series. So we're going to put on a wavy disc spacer and a daisy, a wavy, a daisy, a wavy. Simple as that. We're popping on another one of those little spacer beads. Okay, bicone, crimp tube. That's it. That is it. Okay, so I'm going to go the same direction. So I'm going to come in here. We're going to do a little simple loop. Roll that up. Make sure we're nice and straight and that we're nice and closed. All is well. Okay. I want to pull in for our little holly charm. I'm wanting to, just for the pop purpose of it and to make sure it dangles really well, I'm pulling in one of these little infinities. Okay, so I'm going to open up that infinity, pop that on, close her up, come to the other side, pop on that other side, or pop open that other side, put on our little charm, and close it up. The only thing we have left to do is to put on our ear wire. Okay, that is two-sided. So on that part, it doesn't really matter. But I still want to take a peek at how it's laying. And here it is laying just the way I want it. Okay, so simple, right? So simple, but I just think they're adorable. I think they're adorable. I think they'll have a good heft to them, like not too overwhelming, but I think they're fun. I think they're fun. So let's talk double strand bracelet. Okay, so I have soft flex medium in that metallics and copper color here. That's what I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and put these two together and we'll just get them all worked out, right? So I'm going to start with my supporting strand. Okay, and on my supporting strand, I do want it to be quite simple. I'm wanting to come in here. I'm going to bring over some of our things and stuff that we're going to be using. So I need my bead caps. I need my little 2mm beads. I have just a couple delicas here. I have those beautiful crystals, our bicones, our English cut, because it's going to kind of be the same series in a way. Okay, but I'm bringing in these little barrel beads, and these I got from Beadbox Bargain's website. I really like them. They're going to pull in a different spacer effect. Okay, and I have my little daisy spacers, and I have my wavy spacers and one of my barrels. Okay, I have all sorts of good things. Plus I'm pulling in from my stash these little 2mm crystals. Okay, they're just champagne color. They're just going to give a little bit of a bling factor. Okay, and we just have a couple of them. Right, so let's first start out. I'll go ahead and just bead bug one of them. I'll keep them separate. Let's go ahead, instead of doing the focal first, let's do that supporting strand. Okay, and with that supporting strand, about as easy as it gets, I'm going to put on one of our spacers, and I want one of our little cute blingy guys with that. Okay, so we're just starting out like so. Oops, sorry, I touched the phone. Okay, from here, I'm going to come in with these. But the way I'm wanting to do it on this strand is I just simply want one of our bicones, and then I'm going to bead cap that English. Okay, so we'll bead cap, pop on that English cut, and then come right back to a bicone. Okay, from here, I'm going to go into our little spacer bead. Cute little crystal, spacer bead. In between that, that's when I'm going to bring in those barrels. I'm wanting to do a barrel with a daisy spacer in between two of them. And then hold on, I'll go ahead and put this other side on, and right back on the other side, I'm just doing our little spacer beads with the crystal. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, we're just coming right back in with that bicone. Bicone, and then bead capping our little English cut. And this is going to be the series of our supporting strand all the way through. All the way through. So I'm going to come back over here, grab spacer, crystal, spacer, barrel bead, daisy, barrel, spacer, crystal, spacer. Then we'll do that bicone. Bicone, bead cap our English cut. Pop on another bicone. Okay, we're just going to do one more little continuation of this, and this strand is done. Just like that. Okay, so we'll do that. Spacer, crystal, spacer, barrel, daisy, barrel, whoops, and then we're just finishing out that strand with a spacer and crystal. So this is our supporting strand. I think it's beautiful. I mean, I'd be happy just to have a few strands of this offset from each other, right? Look at the bling that happens with the movement. That's why too I wanted to add those little baby crystals. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so let's bead bug one side of this and set it aside, and then let's talk now about that focal strand. Okay, so similar but different. Okay, it's gonna more so be close to what we have here on the necklace. All right, so let's go ahead and start out with that center, and it is going to be the same essentially that it is in our necklace. So we're gonna have that barrel bead. With that barrel bead, we're going to get some gold on both sides. We're going to follow that up with, I'm going to use these bead caps here just for a little more depth and pop and dimension for the bracelet purpose. Okay. Come in here with a spacer. We're just using these little spacers for this one. And then from the spacer, we're going to go into that wavy daisy scene, scenario, sequence, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we'll come in here and we'll do a wavy spacer and a dotted daisy. Wavy, dotted daisy, wavy. Come right over here on the other side. We're going to pop on a spacer bead at the end of each side. And then we are going to pretty much be mimicking what is going on with that necklace. So from here, we're going to go in with bicone, English cut, and that rondelle. So bicone, we'll bead cap that English cut. We'll pop on one of these rondelles and then go right back down that line. So after this though, we're gonna do another one of these. Yay! I really like that. So we'll do a wavy spacer, dotted daisy, wavy, dotted daisy, and wavy. We'll pop that little spacer on the other side. And then from here on this end part, I'm only gonna have room probably to do a bicone and then do an English cut and then a bicone. Okay, so then we'll come in here, we'll bead cap and grab that English cut. We'll do another bicone. And then let's just, for good measure, pop on a spacer bead. Okay, so let me bead bug the end of this. We'll get that other side done, and then we'll kind of compare it and make sure that we're good on the length, or what we can do to alter the length, you know, whatever all that good stuff needs to be. Okay, so from here we'll go into that bicone I kicked across my bead mat. Okay, let's do bead cap for our English cut. That beautiful rondelle in the center. Right back into our English cut. Bicone. Spacer. Now, okay, good. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to come back into that wavy with the daisy. and a spacer at the end. Okay. Then we'll bead cap that English cut here. Bicone and spacer bead. Now, here's where the moment of truth is. Let's put them together and see how they look. Nice. They look really nice. Okay, let's look at this length. Oh, he's still connected. Okay, let's see. Close, close. Not quite, but look at those together. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, let's see where we are. Whoop. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking my thumbnail and going up against it to pinch it tight so that I know I'm getting the proper length. Okay, so if I start here, I'm at just shy of 5.5. Okay, if I come here, oh, like, okay, well, that's why we do this. We get this out just in case, because as simple as this, we will now match. Perfectly. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, excellent. So let's do this. Let me get these closed up. Okay, I'm going to close these up. I do think I want to do a little something, something, little something, something. It might be a little bit short. Yeah, a little something, something. Not much, not much. But let me close these up first, okay? We'll be right back. All right, so I have closed these two up, and I jump ringed each of them individually, and I have them attached to another jump ring. I went ahead and put together some dangles because I need dangles, but was kind of out of time, you know, as things go. So for this one, what I'm going to do here is I have the dangles attached with another jump ring here, but I'm wanting just a little bit more length. So I think I'm going to put another jump ring on this side that is going to be for that toggle bar. Okay, it's that toggle bar that needs just a little bit of extra, you know, to make sure it can get through there. So I'm gonna pop this bar on, and this is just a cool looking bar, I think. We'll get this closed up. Make sure we get it all the way closed. These are some good jump rings, I tell you. They have been just getting me a little bit. I'll close it just a little. I just want to make sure we're good. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, so down here on this other side, I'm just going to do a jump ring. Okay, and I'm going to pop each of those jump rings on this jump ring, and I'll just directly connect that right here. Okay. So let's pop that on. That one closed pretty well for me. And then let's take a peek here at this one for this set. So let me peek here and see how we're looking. Oh, look at that colorway. Is that not just gorgeous? And yep, we would be like perfection. Perfection. I'm just out of time is all. Okay, so this is set number 2. And this is what I was talking about whenever we're talking about the bar and having extra space. See, this bar is still struggling a little bit because of the way this is connected here instead of the other way. So hold on, let me make sure. Oh no, it's good. Okay, oh, that is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So here is set number 2, okay? let's bring out set number 1 and let's put a couple dangles on it. Okay, so first I'll go ahead and bring out that bracelet, and then on this bracelet I'm going to attach a couple dangles right here. Okay, so I have just a couple of these pretties. Okay, put them on a jump ring. Oh, I have another dangle for this one. That's cute. Oh, and another one. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I made all sorts of them, didn't I? I just made all sorts. I don't think I'm going to use those acorns though, because this is more of a floral kind of vibe. But let me grab a thinner jump ring. Let's do a bit of a thinner one here. But I wanted it to be a little bit on the bigger side. So let me grab this one. I'm going to connect that to this jump ring. I will connect that right over here. Okay. I don't want it to cause anything to kink up, but I also want it to be prominent. So yeah. That's cute, cute, cute. Oh, very cute. Okay. So let's bring out that set number 1. So here is our primary strand. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay, here I'll set this aside. Here is our supporting actress. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then these gorgeous earrings that go with it. That is just happiness. And then its bracelet. I hope you had fun, you guys. I hope you had fun. I had a blast, and I love these sets. I love them. I appreciate you. Every minute, every time, I appreciate you. Everything you do for me, lifting me up, liking, subscribing, telling other people about me. I just can't thank you enough. And until we meet back here, it may be with another purple palette because I'm loving this. I hope your day's fantastic. Bye for now. Can I play with this one? Can I play with it? Can Mama play? Huh? Can Mama play? Can Mama play with it? But this guy likes to play. This guy likes to play. This guy likes to play. What about him? Well. I get him. I get that boy. 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 I'm gonna get that boy. 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 I know, he's sweet. He's a good boy. Isn't he my baby? Did you get to play for the bed? He's a good baby. Hi. Can I play? Can I play with your toy? Can I play with your baby? Can I play with your baby? You gonna let me play? Can I take your baby away? Can I take your baby over here? Huh? What? Can I play with your baby? Can I play with your baby? Can I play? I'm gonna play with your baby. I'm gonna play with your baby. What? Can I play with your baby? That's my baby, that's my baby, that's my baby. What about this baby? I'll play with this baby then. Can I play with this baby? Can I play with that baby? Can I play with that baby? I get the boy, I get the boy, I get the boy. I get the boy, I get the boy, I get the there. Mama's not up there. Mama's right here. Mama's right here. Hold on, let me put my gloves back on. Hold on, let me put my glove back on. Okay, I have my glove back on. I can love ya. Hi, baby. Boy. He's a mama boy. He just wants his mama. Does he want his mama? Are you mama's boy? Hi. 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 He's my boy. Thank you. I'm telling you, for the rest of my days, if I have a choice, I will never get a real diamond again. I will get 20 every time. Every time. It doesn't matter if it is man-made, not to me at that point. For, the diamonds are harvested to the, craziness of the price, whatever. I love it. Hi. I love it, love it, love it. Hi. My baby. Finding 4879. So this is 4 pieces of 19 millimeter enameled shell charms. This is